It's me. It's simply me. A little harmless Stephen DiRado, and the way that I'm interested in your life and all the things that you do. I find you fascinating. I find you incredibly important and profound. And I want to be there to hear your stories. And I happen to be there with a camera that's almost like, it's just like a thing there on the side. It's hardly even visible, even though it's like 40 pounds, to capture it all on film. So we talked about Belle Pond when I was in my mid-20s, and then the mall in my late 20s. And another project that I worked on, we mentioned Jacob Knight, the still lifes, bringing those together and learning how to construct things with this big, arduous camera. In between all this, I also worked with an artist, Sally Bishop. Sally wanted to work with me in 1988, working with a nude model, a number of nude models that she could draw and paint, and that she wanted me to collaborate by photographing these same models. And I found that I wanted to complement her long sweeping gestures and her paintings with very exact, almost clinical, or no, actually clinical photos of hearts and bodies with this camera for the exacts. And it was boring as hell. I'd rather actually go out and have coffee with my subjects than sitting them there with hot lights on them in the studio and staying still forever. But I had at least this experience of photographing flesh and texture. So now I go to visit a friend in 1987 on Martha's Vineyard in June. And there was this calling that everything I've been working on up to this point, middle class America, the still life, the community of Belle Pond, middle class America with all of its narcissistic persona and baggage and everything else in between. And I came to an island that seemed to have it all for me under one roof. And I just had this thought and this calling that I had to come back in '88 and own the island for as long as it takes to create this advancing narrative, this way of me telling stories and navigating through life. And sure enough, when I came back in '88, it was instant. Add water and you had a story. And all the places that I went to, the different beaches, the different communities, welcomed me there. Again, we learned how to have this persona of this bigger, heavy camera over my shoulder, satchel. I'm short, I perpetually smile, I'm harmless, and introducing myself and photographing these communities. And I was on my way for the next 2 years photographing the community there. It is my only creative process is to stay in one location. I joke with people all the time when this conversation comes up, and I could say I could spend the rest of my life in this room with you right now and learn about you and your lives and watching everything about you and find that fascinating and tell the story many different ways by photographing you. And the repetition opens up doors for other things to happen. So I don't think there's, you can't put me in a car to go see a mountain someplace or travel across the country. I wouldn't know what to do. I need to be someplace for a long period of time. So when I'm on Martha's Vineyard, there's beaches that I photograph and there's people's houses that I photograph. And so they have to be conducive for me to, again, balance the narrative. One cannot dominate over the other. There has to be a synchronicity between the two to come together to, again, create a full-blown narrative. So there's symbiotic in the way that those two things come together.